Darktable 5.6 is out now, and we are continuing our look at all of the new features. Let's go. Hi and welcome to episode 169 of Understanding Darktable. Let's just dive right on into it. Number 3 on the big ones. Added an AI object mask tool in the Darkroom Mask Manager. Uses SAM 2.1 or SegNext model for interactive object segmentation. Click on an object to generate a precise mask. Supports both foreground and background prompt points with iterative refinement. The encoder runs once per image, GPU accelerated via the AI backend when available, and the lightweight decoder produces masks interactively. Each click runs iterative refinement passes that tighten the mask, plus an optional dense CRF refinement pass for clean edge-aware boundaries. The generated mask can optionally be exported as a PNG for use with the external raster masks module when finer edge detail is needed than the vectorized mask provides. So I've just dug out an image from my test shots folder. It's an image of the Australian flag shot on a beach here in the Central Coast. And if we go to the Mask Manager, we can see this new icon that looks like a 4-pointed star. We click on that. We've got some properties down the bottom, and we see click on object to create a mask, and we've got a little crosshair icon where our mouse pointer is. So we click on the mask and it thinks about it for a while, and it comes back with something that's not too bad. It's missed a few spots, and this is where your mileage may vary. If you have a look up the top of the screen, there are some tooltips. You can add to the mask with a left click. You can subtract with a shift click. You can clear the entire thing with control shift click. You can apply the mask, because you'll notice if you look over in the Mask Manager on the left hand side, there is actually no shape there yet. And that's because we haven't applied this particular mask yet. So it's giving you the option to refine the mask before you actually create it. You can apply and save the raster with shift right click, smoothing with your scroll wheel, clean up with shift and scroll, and alter the opacity with control scroll. That's not a new feature, that's always been there, control and scroll wheel to change the opacity. I have found that when I click on these parts of the flag that have not been included, that the mask actually gets smaller, as it just did there. So this is what I mean about your mileage may vary. I cannot get it to expand on the selection. If I do shift click, it also gets smaller. Not really sure about this one. I have to say, and apologies to whoever worked on this in the dev team, I don't quite feel like this was ready for release. If we decided that yes, we were happy with this, we right click and that creates the object group and the mask. We can then load that into any module. Let's go to Color Balance RGB, click on Drawn Masks, and where it says Drawn Mask, no masks used, we simply select our AI object number 1. Of course, in the Mask Manager, you could rename that if you wanted to. So we'll come over here and go flag 1. And now over here in Drawn Mask, no mask used, we will go flag 1. And that has loaded that particular mask into the Color Balance RGB module. Now we can see that there's a massive feather on that, so we'll do a shift and scroll to bring that in a bit. As we can see, there is a lot of the flag that has not been selected. How useful this is, I'll leave it for now. I think I could probably draw a mask manually in less time than I would spend trying to get this tool to do a better job. Each to their own. In UI UX improvements, increase the resolution of the darkroom view's preview resolution images from 720 by 450 to 1440 by 900. Now I think this is referring to the thumbnail in the top left corner. That does look to me to be a little larger than the thumbnail has been in previous versions, so I'm assuming that that's what that's referring to. Next, use darktable icon in desktop environments when running under Wayland on a KDE-like system. Previously, the window manager would use a generic icon. Now, I don't run a KDE-like system with Wayland. I'm running XFCE on MX Linux and still using X11 as a window manager, so I can't demonstrate that. But I have seen exactly what they're describing. If I create a desktop shortcut for Darktable on MX Linux, it does by default just end up with a cog icon rather than the Darktable icon. Next, use server-side decorations, SSD, for Windows when the user's window manager is capable of this, to make window decorations consistent with other applications. If SSD is not implemented, like GNOME and Mutter under Wayland, use client-side decorations. So to demonstrate this, let me just bring up Featherpad, which is the notepad application under MX Linux. And if you look at the minimize, maximize, and close icons for Featherpad, they are the same as the minimize, maximize, and close icons for Darktable up there in the top right-hand corner. Next, added a welcome screen to help users understand and set the most relevant configuration options on the first run. The interesting thing about that particular pop-up window is that once it has been displayed one time, it is automatically disabled. So if we go to Preferences, go to Miscellaneous, the second option, Show Welcome Screen on Next Run, is unchecked, and we can see by the white dot that that is a change from default. So we reactivate that to say on the next fire up of Darktable, show that welcome screen. So now we can close our preferences, close Darktable, and the next time we launch Darktable, we will see this pop-up screen. Don't know why that chose to display somewhere other than the center of the screen. That's the first time I've seen it do that. And here we've got 7 or 8 pages that, as it said in the release notes, give you the option to set some of the more common configurations that you might want to change on your first run. So which pixel workflow default you want to use. I want to use AGX. Set the base film roll directory. When to create XMP files. I want them on import. Prioritize the hovered image over the selected images. I actually don't want that. I would prefer that Darktable prioritized the selected images. Mouse wheel scrolls module side panels by default. Yes, please, I will have that. Darktable theme, I will leave it on grey, and you're all set. And you can now close that, and it won't come back again by default. If you want to see it again, you'll have to go back into preferences and re-enable it. Added touchpad gestures to darkroom and light table culling layouts, including pinch zoom and 2-finger panning. Now, to demonstrate this, I would need a laptop or tablet-like device with a touch screen, and I don't have one. So I will assume if you've got one of those devices, you can activate these gestures in the preferences and try them out and see how they work for you. Moving on to other changes. Removed the unbound by default keyboard shortcut to cycle through each histogram mode, and within each mode to cycle through its options. Now that implies that they are now available via keyboard shortcuts. So if we come into the darkroom, click on the keyboard icon, click on the histogram, and this will take us to the keyboard shortcuts that you can assign for switching between the different scopes. Next, increase the limit on the number of offset days in the geotagging module to correct for an incorrect camera timestamp from 99 days to 9,999 days, which I initially thought, wow, that's a bit excessive. But then the more I think about it, let's say you've got a, I don't know, 12, 15-year-old camera, a digital camera, that you haven't used for 12 months, and suddenly you go and dig it out of the drawer. Naturally, when you put in a battery, it's going to default to the current time and date at the time of manufacture, which could easily be 12 to 15 years ago. And that could be, 4,000 to 5,000 days or thereabouts. So maybe a 10,000 day maximum is not such a bad thing. Now, if you're wondering about that whole geotagging thing, what's that all about? Well, if we jump back into the geotagging module, this is where you can apply an offset to the EXIF metadata for the time and the date of when an image or a bunch of images was shot. And I've mentioned in previous videos, this can be great if you're shooting with another photographer and you got multiple cameras and the timestamps are not perfectly synchronized. I'm not going to go into that now because I've done that in previous videos, but at least you now have the option for a 10,000 day offset should you need it, -1. Next, added a new collection filter for image duplicates. Now initially I came in here and I was checking this menu up and down and I'm going, there's no duplicates there. No, it's because they are here under the filter icon, and we go new filter, duplicates, and you can now sort duplicates only, images with duplicates, or all images. And finally, the masks in restricted edit mode are now displayed on canvas as dashed lines to ensure proper feedback. If we just jump into a random image here and I was to, let's just go color balance RGB, I'll go drawn mask and I'm going to do a path, and I'm just going to draw something very quick and manual around Aztec when he was a pup a long time ago. You would be aware, if you've been using Darktable for a while, that if I roll my mouse wheel while I'm inside the mask, it will zoom the mask. It won't zoom the image. But you might want to actually zoom in on the image, particularly if you were doing, really fine work and you're trying to, really caress the way the mask was drawn, and you're going, oh, I really need to zoom in so that I can finesse that. But if I try to zoom in, I just end up zooming the mask rather than the image. So you come down to the icon that displays the mask and you control click, and you are now in restricted edit mode. And previously the mask would have just kept its normal display, but now you get this doshed, that's a portmanteau of dotted and dashed line to show you that you are in restricted edit mode. So now I can zoom the image, it won't zoom the mask, and you'll notice that I cannot left click and drag to move the mask or anything like that. And then if you want to get out of that, just control click that icon again, and now your mask is back to being movable and zoomable and all that good stuff. All right, guys, we are 3/5 of the way through the new stuff in Darktable 5.6. I told you there was a heap in this release. There is so much more to come. Questions, comments, sing out down below. I'll catch you in the next one.